Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Karanya Remiko from PPE 2021 D. Here I will explain about the characteristic of language. First is the definition. The definition of language is a system of communication based on that is through the organ of speech and hearing among human beings of a certain group or community, using vocal symbols possessing arbitrary conventional meaning. And about the characteristic of language is the communicative role of a language in journalism and mass communication can be described by the following characteristic. First, I will explain about the language system. That language has its own system or pattern, and grammatical pattern are different from one another because every language has its own structure and pattern. The language that is created must follow the rule or pattern of that language. In order to create a grammatical pattern of language or in accordance with its grammar. For the example, like Arnie is teacher, they have a subject and linking verb, article, and complement on the sentence. And as we can see that Indonesia and English have the different sentence pattern. In the, like in Indonesia is just subject, predicate, and object. And we can observe that to create a sentence with the meaning of the example in English, the subject Arni must be followed by the linking verb is, and the linking verb must be followed by article, and finally followed by the noun teacher. So if we want to make a sentence consisting of a subject, Army, and a noun teacher, and then according to the structure of the English word, the sentence will be grammatical if it is followed by linking verb, like is and an article. Uh, Whereas in Indonesia there is no need linking verb and article. So Arni, a teacher, just wrote it down. So there is an English sentence. Arni is teacher. Then it is clear that the sentence is not an English sentence structure and the grammar is definitely wrong. And two is language is arbitrary. This point is still related to the meaning of a word. Arbitrary means changing, and if this is related to language, it can be concluded that its word is relative. This means that one word can have the same form but has a different meaning when used in a particular sentence. For example, the word "beer" in English "beer" can mean beer, hold, and others meaning, and which is the correct meaning that all is correct that depending on the use of the sentence in the context of a sentence. And I have a example like I saw a big bear in the zoo. And second example is tell me now I can build the suspense. And three is language is vocal. This means in the art of delivering language, there are two kinds of delivery method, namely speaking and written. Of course, these two ways are very different, and what is meant by language as a sound here is speaking, or it can also be called as a oral language. Speaking is the main thing because in speaking consists of intonation, pitch, high and low, stress, emphasis, and center pause. It is not contained in written, so that the delivery can be clear and more expressive because in speaking there are intonation pitch and stress that turn on the delivery. Well, those are things that are not in written language because we cannot hear intonation, pitch, and stress in written language. So it can be concluded that the language is a way of pronouncing a language according to the phonological system of that language, and pronunciation is an important aspect which is actually also the main feature of a language. And four is language is a symbol. Language is a set of symbols, that is to say, language has meaning. In this form, the statement is operated and does not distinguish language from other activities, which are also symbolic. The nature of language symbol turns out to be rather than different from the symbol of other types of communication. The simple non-linguistic symbol can be defined as a substitute stimulus, and non-linguistic symbol can also be substitute response, and this can also be talked to animal in human speech. However, one of the most striking facts is that we can talk about things which are not present, and we can talk about things which ordinarily produce a strong physical reaction without experiencing that reaction. This type of language, which occur about without an immediately present stimulus or response, is called displaced speech, and it is obviously of great importance. It is what enables man to know something of the past and of the world beyond the limit range of his vision and hearing a given moment. By means of language, men make elaborate model of distant experience and eventually test their accuracy by acting upon them. All that is known of animal communication leads to the supposition that precisely what is absent from is the kind of symbolic activity here described. Symbolic activity connect not merely with experience but with all part of the symbol system that we believe in thought that animals are incapable of displaced speech. And five is language is a human. Language as human mean that human communication system is very different from the communication system that other form of life possess. For example, no system of animal communication make use of the design feature of duality. And six is language is communication. Language is mean communication that is used to transfer information and ideas and feeling from one person to another. Language is also a system of communication based upon a word and the communication of word into sentence. By using language, people can develop their knowledge and know about something. That is from me, and thank you.